Hello, welcome to the EBA Season 4 Draft Analysis by the Among Us. I forgot to post my shit in here. If you're watching this though, you're probably in the EBA league anyways, and you can see my logo. I totally forgot I was a different thing until I started doing this. I just made this in the last like 15-ish, maybe 20 minutes. So don't mind the somewhat low quality of it. And he was straight into it. First pick, Giratina Origin. I believe I was picked 10. A lot of the shit that I wanted was off the board. This happens to be my favorite, well, in contention for my favorite Pokemon of all time, but my favorite legendary mythical, blah, 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 whatever. So I low-key just took him for the vibes, but I also was kind of just fucking with, like, I mean, I like the type in Ghost Dragon. It's nice. Big ass bulky attacker. I love this shit. Last season I picked up a team with Palkia Origin. Loved that Pokemon. It was quite a bit faster though. Whole lot of uhs. Quite a bit faster. This thing I didn't even know it got defog. There's like Willow, Hex, just strong ass Dracos that are always going to be boosted by the Gracias orb. I think it is that it holds. Which just sucks that we can't run any items on this besides the orb. But hey, strong shit. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out sets. It'll more than likely be very, very similar sets, barring a move every week. But I haven't used it yet, so I have no clue. Next Pokemon, Terapagos. I sniped the fuck out of Sin with this one. I know he was really liking this. He was all up in my DMs. Probably should have posted a little screenshot here just to make fun of him. Begging on his knees for this Pokemon. I use this in PTL. I really, really enjoyed my time with it. I love Terra Starstorm. It's debatably best spinner in the format. Probably actually just is there, like best removal. Might actually, it's probably just number one. Honestly, now that I think about it, Great Tusk might get there because it doesn't really need Terra. It doesn't need boots. But regardless, great. Love this Pokemon. It's somewhat versatile with the sets. A lot of coverage. Love this shit. Super bulky. Really, really strong special attack stat. Love the Meteor Beam sets. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I'm like 0-2 or 0-3 with them. I have not hit a single Meteor Beam in all my time playing Pokemon, I believe. So, well, Draft League. I brought it 3 times, missed it 3 times. I think one of the times was on Glamora, though. So, 0-2 for Terapagos, 0-1 for Glamora. Something like that. Maybe I hit the one with Glamora. I don't know. I'm yapping. Love Terra Starstorm more than anything on this Pokemon. Big, spammable normal move. I love it. I love bulky normal types. It's just the best. Next Pokemon, Iron Moth. I thought this Pokemon looks really, really nice with Giratina, mostly to scare away Steel types in the prep. A lot of Steel types are going to be really scared of this Pokemon. Also, and in a lot of my drafts, I've been really, really missing sweepers and setup sweepers. This thing isn't exactly set up, but it comes in with booster speed, maybe even booster special attack if I'm feeling fucking greedy. It can just do that. It can definitely get a sweep. Terapagos can definitely get a sweep. It's not that difficult if I just build a sweeping set with it. But I've been really struggling having a good fast sweeper. And I think this thing honestly fits the bill for it. Fiery Dance, it's a 50-50 on whether you get the boost or not. But it's got strong enough special attack anyways. You probably just roll with it. I can also just be Scarf if I want to consistently come in on shit. I can be Boots if I feel like I'm not going to have good removal. I can be Specs if I want to be a fucking breaker. Just a fast-ass breaker. I can be Air Balloon coming on ground attacks. Any of that shit. I can be like a Psychic Resist Berry if I'm coming on a really strong Psychic type that's faster than me. Some bullshit. Probably not for Dio, which, spoilers, Dio is my week 1. I have not built a team yet. I'm building directly after making this video and posting it. Next pick is Iron Boulder, and it's Terra Iron Boulder. At this point in the draft, I had a lot of stuff that I really wanted that was just gone. And I decided to say, fuck it. I'm just going to go. This is not how I would normally draft. Normally at this point, I would at least have 2 to my Fairy Dragon Steel or Fire Grass Water. I don't know why the fuck I can't think of those core names. Have 2 to those. I only have 1 to each of them. So this is very different for me. But Terra Iron Boulder, this Pokemon stats are just fucking ridiculous. Terra patches its only weakness, only real weakness at least, I guess, being its typing, which is just absolute dog shit. But Terra patches that shit up. This is 23 points, I believe. Oh, I probably should have put points for these Pokemon below them. Make the screen a little bit more full. It's alright. Patches that hole for me. What was I even talking about? Oh, patches that hole for Boulder, I guess, not for me. Another setup sweeper, another possible breaker. I love these Pokemon they don't really have to be one thing. Like I played with Zapdos and MML, and that thing, even whenever I tried to be a sweeper, maybe I just couldn't position it. Didn't really work as well as whenever it was just a fucking sweeper or as a breaker. It did the breaking job really well though. So that's just what it does. I like Pokemon that can go multiple ways. Terrapagos can be defensive as well. I fucking love. We're back to Terrapagos, but I love that Pokemon. It can do anything that you want besides like physical attack, or even that you might be able to pull off a physical attack instead. If it's really, 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 really good. But you probably got a bad opponent for that. Next up, Weezing Galar. I was lacking a lot on my physical defense, and I fairy sniped out of my hands, which was not cool. Just for them to trade it away. I don't like Usage. He said he wanted Azu. He grabbed Azu and then instantly dropped that shit. Or traded that shit whenever the draft was over. Sorry for the low res pick. I don't know why. I just couldn't. I looked for like maybe 20 seconds. Could not find a high res pick. Again, it was only 20 seconds, and that includes the time typing in the bar and the loading time. Low res pick. Anyways, needed a physical wall at this. You can see I have a lot of bulk, a lot of special bulk, especially, but I don't have like a physical wall. Plus, more removal so that Trapper doesn't have to be defog. I don't think Gira should be clicking defog, even if it runs it some week. It shouldn't be running it, should it be clicking it, kind of thing. Even though it's one of the better ones at it, I think it would just be better if I'm clicking strong ass moves into my opponent. That's kind of how I see it. I also needed my fairy, like I said, so I grabbed this thing. It's gonna suck not having a good fairy move to click unless I just go with some random ass like spec set. Not doing that though. Straight up, I'm just not. I will be defog. What else? Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Sludge Bomb, whatever the fuck else this Pokemon normally runs. But I love this Pokemon. It's great. And I wasn't worried about doubling up on normal types because they have one of them is super specially bulky, one of them is super physically bulky. Pretty different roles too. When it like all things considered, when it comes to the match, they're gonna be playing very different roles. One of them's also got Levitate, one of them's a grounded poison, so I don't have to be worried about making this thing neutralizing gas in matchups where I think there's realistic chance of toxic spikes coming. Next Pokemon, Swampert. I don't remember exactly why I got this, partially for the water shit. Oh, also I wanted a good ground type, and this thing just did both of them. It's got an amazing typing. I wanted a good ground type here. 110 is very usable with Earthquake if I need to. It's got good bulk. Pivoting, if you see, pretty lacking on pivoting at the moment. I think Iron Moth gets U-turn, and that's just about it for my team. When it comes to getting like momentum and all that, another bulky mon. It can be bulky, it can be offensive. Just does its thing. Swampert's also just a cool Pokemon. I kind of fuck with this thing. I've never used it before. I've heard a lot of hype about it. Fuck with it. It's cool. Next pick. Iron Hands. I know this looks like it should have been a lot earlier in the draft. I was low-key just like, I needed more physical attack. I don't have any like real big physical attackers. Garrett kind of counts. Not really. Poltergeist is dope. It can be prepped for. Iron Hands. This thing is bulky as all balls. You can see I have a very, very, very bulky fucking team. More so on the special side, but this thing gives me a lot more physical natural physical bulk. And AV sets are very popular, so special bulk. It's there. It's got it. AV set's very normal. I think this Pokemon fit relatively well. It gives me, if I really want to run it, Volt Switch for momentum. And then I noticed a lot of my drafts had flying weaknesses, but this is a fighting type that's not weak to flying, I believe. And I don't like the idea of somebody being good and clicking a flying move into me, especially with these Terra Pokemon just going Terra Flying, Terra Blast, and running everything over 5 times, which is just not fun. I wasn't really struggling at this point. That wasn't the exact reason I picked it, but I really just needed another physical attacker. I wanted some more bulk because that's kind of where I'm leaning. I usually go with like super balanced teams and then have like 4 high speed tiers. In this one, you can see I have 2 real high speed tiers. Here's my somewhat third one. Shaman, my grass type, rounds out my core for the Fire Water Grass. It's got just a nice stat spread. It can do kind of whatever you need in a week. It's probably going to be bulky most weeks, but it can definitely go offensive. Unfortunately, solo grass typing sucks offensively. But it's got a lot of shit that it can do. Mostly the same thing, though. I'm not going to lie. It's just going to be a lot of bulky sets, but it's going to do that very well. 100-100 is great defensively. Not so great offensively. The speed 100 tier, if I need it. But it's also nice to just have a naturally fast, bulky Pokemon. Next one, Fortress. It's a spinner. That's not why I got it though. I liked the idea of all the hazards because I was kind of lacking on like hazard options and spikes specifically. But it gives me a steel type. Again, more physical bulk. My special bulk is most of it's gonna be. You can see I don't really have a special wall. Most of it's gonna be in my Iron Boulder, my Terrapagos, my Giratina. Obviously, it's my Uber, my Iron Moth. Like I'm just kind of a lot of natural special bulk. And then if this thing, I mean, hopefully it's not gonna be taking a fire move. I have plenty of Pokemon to take fucking fire moves for this. But it is something to spend if I really need it. More so here for hazards and being annoying if I need it. Maybe T-Spikes. But I also have Weezing for that. It's probably not going to come most of the time. My team's definitely a lot more like just bulky offense and swinging with big moves every turn. Not dying and hopefully hitting a big move next turn. But it's definitely got its use cases. Next up, Mabostiff. I needed a dark type. I waited way too long to get a dark type. From what I think most of my drafts, I have a dark type pretty early on because I don't want to get Shadow Ball spammed or Psychic spammed. Although this team is not that weak to just like spam of a certain move, especially because Terrapagos is there. Spam of a Ghost move. I cannot think. 120 attack, stakeout, crunch, payback, whatever. I think payback might work on a switch, and I'm pretty sure. What was it? What's the move I was thinking of? I don't remember what it was, but there's a turn that like. Or no, analytic. The ability analytic works if your opponent switches, I believe. So I'm thinking payback might. I don't know. Regardless, crunch is probably gonna be the bring if I have it anyways. A lot of damage on stakeout. And the goat, Knackley. All right, so actually I do have another Pokemon, but they're not on here. I didn't want to make room for them. I got Knackley. This is my goat, the MVP of this season. Look at that stat spread. Tell me that thing's not dirty. It's going to be sweeping every single week. This thing was 19 points pre-Terra, 27 points if I wanted to Terra it. Unfortunately, I got Terra Boulder, and I couldn't Terra Knackley, but I wanted to be fair to everybody, all right? Knackley, this is my GOAT. Look at him. That's a good mon right there. Appreciate y'all watching. The Among Us got it this season. I'm hoping it's at least a semis. At least the semis. I feel relatively strong about my squad. I don't feel the greatest about it. The more I look at it, the more I enjoy it. It's just not my typical style of the way I draft. But hopefully my fears will be put to rest whenever I play and hopefully do good. There are a lot of strong players in this season though. So definitely going to be something to watch out for. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.